Hey guys, we are back with another show, and tonight it's just Malik and I. We're going to talk a little bit about the 35th GLAAD Media Awards. If you haven't seen already, TRANSworld Atlanta got nomination for the Best Outstanding Reality Series, and we are so dang on humbled to be amongst giants in this category. But before we jump into GLAAD and being a nominee, I'm Raquel, your host. My handsome host, Malik, is going to share some cool stuff with you, or maybe not so cool, before we really dive into what this nomination means for us as a franchise and what it could do for us in the future. Malik?
Speaking of GLAAD, GLAAD just recently put out a report with some concerns that it's ever ongoing for us, for the transgender community. The GLAAD report said that it's concerning that many series are getting cut, and they are series that include LGBTQ inclusive programs, leaving a large demographic of viewers constantly searching for new programs, only for them to ultimately be canceled before a satisfying conclusion. It went on to say, this is coming at a time when transgender Americans are facing a growing number of dangerous and discriminatory attacks because of policies that are being put in place, which brings us to voting. Vote.
Yeah, we want to get out and vote.
Yeah, we got to push that because we do matter. We are here, and our lives matter. But we got to also do the work. We got to protect us. Nobody's not going to protect us like we can protect ourselves. So we got to get out of numbers.
Yeah. And it's back to advocating. You got to advocate for yourself. You got to advocate for the things you need and want. I'm not surprised that shows are being cut that are highlighting the LGBTQIA community. I'm not surprised. But what I will say is, it puts more on us as storytellers to continue to tell these stories. And while we may not have Hollywood, we still have these streaming platforms. If there were not a Tubi, a Amazon Prime, I wouldn't have been able to really push TRANSworld Atlanta. And as the director, writer, creator of TRANSworld Atlanta, those platforms, those streaming platforms are vital. I mean, we wouldn't have a nomination for the 35th GLAAD Media Awards if it weren't for those platforms. So as a storyteller, it's going to be vital that we continue to stay in front of getting our stories out. It's important for brown and Black folk to tell brown and Black folk stories, but it's also important for those in the LGBTQIA community to also tell stories from our perspective in the community. So it's I'm not surprised, but unfortunately, we've been dealing with discrimination since day one. That's not anything new. Guys, we are excited to do this show in particular. We are heading to the New York GLAAD Awards, the 35th Media Awards for GLAAD, and we're ecstatic, man. We can't believe that. I can believe it, but still I can't believe it. Like, we have been nominated for an award, and for us in the LGBTQIA community, having a GLAAD nomination is like an Oscar.
Yeah.
So it's that big. The LA show just happened, and Oprah was there some years ago. Beyonce, Jay-Z was there. Niece Nash this year. Oprah talked about at the LA show, because there are two shows for those of you that are unaware. There are two shows. There's an LA show, which has already happened, and then there's a show in May for New York. But Oprah talked about her brother, Jeffrey Lee, who was a gay man, a gay Black man who didn't have the words, who lived in a society that didn't accept him. And a lot of what she talked about was really dedicated to her brother and wishing that he would be here now to see how far we have come. Hello.
That's so main why she's a big advocate, for us.
Mm-hmm.
And, she pushes equality. So I'm very thankful for Oprah for that. I'm very thankful for GLAAD for the platform. Like,
absolutely.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
GLAAD has been fighting the good fight for a very long time. They have been 2 feet in, 2 hands in, advocating for the entire community, especially trans youth. They're doing just amazing work with advocating for trans youth right now, which is so vital and so important. We talk about what's going on politically all the time and how important it is for us to get out and vote. We have to vote. I know sometimes we feel like our vote doesn't count, but if there's any time, the time is now for us to get out and vote. I know a lot of people complain about Biden, but Biden and Harris have done so many amazing things. They just don't do a good job of talking about it. Right. They kind of keep their heads down and do what they do. But I think it's time for them to lead with what they have done. And I'm hoping that we see more of that from them as they continue to campaign, talking about just what they have done, because they've done so many amazing things. And they are great supporters of the LGBTQIA community as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
but yeah, we're very excited. Like, we are actually going to New York for the 5th GLAAD Award. Like, this is a independent film, guys. Like, she doesn't like the kudos, but I'm always gonna give them SVN one that dreamed this project, and she didn't have to do it. She spent the money out of her own pocket, and so, like, to be nominated, just to get the nod, to be in the ranks of in the yes, there are against people with $1 million budgets. Those that's on Hulu and Netflix. Like, this is, and I can't say this enough, this is an independent film, a film paid for by her.
We feel we're the only program that came from Tubi. We're on Tubi and Amazon, but we were the only program to let you know how significant this nomination is for us at TRANSworld. There was, and I pulled up everyone in the category. Congratulations to every single person that was nominated in the category as well. Congratulations to all the networks. And I'm going to actually let you know who we're competing against and how much of an honor this is. Bargain Block, HDTV, Family Karma, Bravo, I Am Jazz, TLC, Living for the Dead, Hulu, Queer Eye, Netflix, The Real Housewives of New York, Bravo, Selling Sunset, Netflix, Swiping America, MASH, of course, TRANSworld Atlanta, Tubi, and The Ultimatum, Queer Love, Netflix. So to let you guys know, like, we are competing against giants. Just to get to the GLAAD Awards was a financial struggle. It's a very expensive event to attend. But there's no place that I would be on May 11th, Mother's Day weekend, celebrating the work that we've done with TRANSworld Atlanta. It's a big deal, and I'm so humbled. I'm so humbled. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. This was a scary project, and I don't talk about this often at all. But I grew up with a transgender cousin in the 80s and the 90s who contracted HIV, who died with full-blown AIDS. And I grew up in a very liberal home where it was okay to be what you were. So I never thought of my cousin as different. I just thought of my cousin as my cousin. I didn't fully realize that I grew up with a transgender cousin until I was an adult. I'm an adult. That's because I'm a friend's person.
Yeah, but that's
more. It hits me. I'm an adult dating a trans person before it knocks me across my head saying, oh, this isn't new to you. This is normal because this isn't new to you. You've lived all your life with someone who identified as trans. And now, on the other side of it as an adult, you know, I'm a kid, of course, during this time. It's like, my God, like, I get it. I hear you. I can see how my steps have been ordered, why I'm able to tell this story, not just because I've been with a transgender person, but because I would live with a transgender person, because I grew up in the 80s and the 90s when there wasn't a name for it.
Right.
And it's just amazing to be here today to share your story and the rest of the cast story with the world. I'm often at a loss of words when I really think about it. And sometimes I get emotional because I think God is a perfect God. And when I dreamed this project, I asked God, you know, hey, I want to create something that changes lives. I want to create something that will mean something generations from now, decades from now, something that my kids will be proud of. And I didn't know what that was going to be. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I literally dreamed this project. I went to bed, woke up, and was like, oh my God, I have it. Thank you, God. This is what I've been asking for. Thank you. And when I picked up the phone to call you, I could see it so clear. So clear. Like I could see it when we met. And Malik is a producer on the show. I called Malik and I said, hey, I have this idea. Well, actually, I sent him a text message. Can you call me? I have this idea. I need your help. I can't do it without you. I need to bounce this off of you, because there wasn't many people I could share it with. It wasn't many people that I could say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. And Malik responded. We met a few days later. I drove from South Carolina to Georgia to Atlanta. We had, I don't know, hours and hours. We sat in this restaurant on napkins from the restaurant, and we really wrote down my ideas. And once I gave Malik my ideas, I trusted him to pull a cast together because I knew he had his fingertips on Atlanta. Obviously, I know Malik is trans, but I knew he had his fingertips on the transgender community. And the rest is really history. I mean, we went through all these amazing transgender people in Atlanta. We narrowed it down. We selected a unique cast, what we thought was unique at the time. And we created TRANSworld Atlanta.
Yeah.
And here we are with a nomination for the 35th GLAAD Media Awards, New York, May 11th, to sit with giants, Hulu, Netflix, TLC, Bravo, Max.
And you imagine the smile that your cousin got on his face, right?
And like, my mom used to tell, so my mom and my cousin were best friends. It was a great loss for her. She talks about him to this day, and it brings her so much joy when she talks about her cousin Tommy. It brings her joy. And I remember like being a little girl, and Tommy, I would have 5 dresses for one day. When I would get dirty, there would be another dress. Literally. And it gave him joy, right? Or she. We, as a child, I said he because I knew Tommy was born as, a boy. But what I saw was a woman. How Tommy identified was a woman. So knowing my mother's relationship with Tommy, I think also gave her such joy. She watched the show with so much joy and so much pride. One, because I'm her child and I did it. But two, like,
it's a connect.
What if Tommy was here today? If Tommy was here today, he would be on TRANSworld and turning the fuck up.
Yeah.
But it gives my mom a lot of joy and memories. And she's able to celebrate Tommy. And I think you're right. I think she is looking down saying, that's my cousin. Like, we did, bitch.
That's right. That's right.
Big thank you to GLAAD for seeing us, because sometimes I don't feel seen as a Black woman, as a mother, sometimes as a creator, a lot of the times. So I'm thankful to be seen. I'm thankful to be heard. And when you don't think people are watching, they are. And that's what I'm learning in this process. I spent a lot of money doing this, damn near my entire savings. But I really believe in the project. We're preparing for season 2. We're in the process of selecting a cast. And I think season 2 is going to be even more powerful with different, unique stories. And we hope to be nominated again for the GLAAD Media Awards. We shot another film that I think the world is going to be proud of. We're not talking about it just yet, but we shot a feature film that I think is going to change lives. And I think and believe that it's monumental in our community. Every time I think about the nomination, I get emotional, in all honesty. Like, I'm so grateful to be seen, just to be in a number. Of course, we want to win. Like, we're not going to lose. We want to win, but I don't want that to overshadow just being in the number, just being considered, just being nominated. That's impactful in itself.
That's right. Because our stories, I mean, like we said in the beginning, if we could help with just one person.
Just one. We've done it. We did what we set out to do. And not only have we won, I think we've had over 1 million views at this point. We know that so many inbox messages from people saying thank you. So many people reached out just to say thank you.
Yeah.
We loved it. That meant the world to me too. That people received it and saw what we were doing or trying to do, what we set out to do. I think for the little boy and the little girl who are trying to figure out who they really are.
Yeah.
For the little girl, the little boy who don't quite identify with what they look like on the outside, TRANSworld Atlanta gives them a view of what life can be.
That's right.
And I think
and it's going to continue to elevate, continue to get better, and continue to help the masses.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all we need now is for, a network to pick us up and run this thing, because it has been very costly. But we believe in it, and we're going to keep pushing it. I'm going to continue to invest in it because I believe in it that much. And I'll be honest with you, it's hard. It has been hard. It has been very difficult financially. And sometimes I find myself saying, God, am I doing the right thing? I have babies that I have to provide for, sports that I have to pay for, a house, a mortgage, car note. And it's scary at times. It's scary at times because of what I had to pay to create this project. But I do not feel for one moment that I'm doing the wrong thing. I absolutely feel like I'm on the right track. I absolutely feel like I'm doing what God has set out for me to do. I've always been a community leader. All my work has really been with children up until I put my arms around this project, and now it has blossomed. I mean, with our foundation, Dream Catchers Foundation, we are heavily focused on Black men that identify as gay, queer, trans, bisexual, that are living with HIV or at a high risk for HIV. That has now become our life's work through the TRANSworld series. So I'm just excited about what we're doing, and I know that we're changing lives.
And I can sit here and say that I believe God has given you your confirmation when you got that email saying that we have been nominated for the third. Hey, listen, like you said, just the nod alone.
Yeah, like
your work has not and is not in vain. And I believe that God is gonna take care of you and bless you forward.
Yeah, and I trust God, and I trust the process, and I don't expect for anything great to be easy. Greatness doesn't come from easy. Greatness comes from grinding, doing difficult things, following your dreams, not listening to naysayers. Because when I do straight projects, my social media following, they share it, they talk about it, because I don't necessarily have a following that's LGBTQ.
Right.
Although I'm lesbian, although I identify as lesbian, I've been married to a woman. The everyday world that I live in, it's like they look over it. It's like I get the pass or something. Like I get the gay pass. Like we don't have to talk about it. We know she is, but let's not talk about it. So it's always funny to me when I see people share my heterosexual project. Like we have Below the Rim. That's Apple TV just picked up Below the Rim. Say Apple TV, Flex, Tubi, Cluster TV, Roku. It's everywhere, and it's a heterosexual film, and everybody pushes it. Everybody talks about it, and I'm so thankful. But people are hesitant. My straight following have been very hesitant, or simply just have not shared TRANSworld Atlanta because of the homophobia of it, or that comes with it. So to have GLAAD see the project, for media outlets or the board of GLAAD to give us the nomination, I'm so thankful.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, it is humbling indeed. But guys, we wanted to jump on and talk about our nomination. We want to continue to ask for your support. We're preparing for season 2. We're bringing you another season, and it's going to be fire. The story is going to be even more impactful. Super excited to share with you guys what we have coming. All we ask is that you continue to support us. We're looking for a network to pick us up. So if you see this episode and you're at the GLAAD Awards, Oprah, somebody said that you were looking for somebody like me. I got stories for days. I'm writing movies for days. I'm writing TV shows for days. I got more where TRANSworld came from. So I'm only a call away, and I am at your beck and call when you do call. But we love you, Oprah. We thank you for what you're doing. We thank you for advocating in this community how you have. And I'm sure Jeffrey Lee smiled down in a special way when he saw you at the GLAAD Awards, keeping his memory alive and supporting the group of people that he identified with. So we thank you, Oprah. We thank you, GLAAD, for everything that you guys have done for this community. And thank you so much for the nomination.
Yeah. And we look forward to being in New York.
It's gonna be a night, a weekend to remember. We're geared up, ready to go. But thank you guys for joining us for another It's a TRANSworld podcast. We'll see you next time. I'm Raquel, your host.
I'm Malik.
And we love you guys. And this is always a safe place and a place of love where we share stories about the transgender community, and those that are non-gender conforming as well, because I think they need this platform as much. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. It's a TRANSworld podcast. Guys, the Media Awards, the GLAAD Media Awards, is going to be on Hulu. So you're going to actually be able to see. So make sure you tune in. I think it's going to air on March 29th on Hulu. We'll definitely be watching. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the nomination. Thank you for following the podcast. Thank you.